Okay, who's ready to wake up bright and early on Friday, Saturday, and Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time?
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
That's right, we're going all the way to Australia this Saturday for WWE CROWN JEWEL, and there is 5 matches that have already been announced. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really excited for this show. It's not necessarily a show that has like a lot on the line, but I feel like it's a very important show for the entire future of WWE going into Royal Rumble season, WrestleMania, and of course you can't forget War Games that happens before all of that, right? This is going to set the playing field for the next 6 months or so. So let's not waste any time and just jump right into this. Let's kick things off with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight, which, by the way, how many ways can we describe a no DQ match? We got street fight, we got no holds barred, we've got, of course, the classic no DQ, we got like what, Extreme Rules match. I guess technically like a triple threat doesn't have disqualifications. Like, how many damn matches are there? But regardless, we're gonna see the Australian street fight as Bronson Reed, the local man, by the way, takes on the big dog Roman Reigns. So you got the tribal thief and you got the tribal chief going to war one more time. This is after their very first match, which Roman Reigns did beat Bronson Reed, but afterwards Bronson Reed laid the man out and dropped him onto a stretcher. Paul Heyman wants you to believe that this is the very first time that this man has been stretchered out, but Bronson... Wait, no, not Bronson. Braun, there we go, Braun Strowman. There are so many damn Brauns. Braun Strowman laid out Roman Reigns years ago. So, Paul, you're a bit of a liar. But I have a sneaky suspicion that this match isn't just going to be Roman Reigns beating Bronson Reed again. I think that we are actually going to see something go down where we tease the future of Jimmy, Jay, and Roman. Maybe Jimmy accidentally super kicks Roman Reigns. That could happen. Maybe Jay is pissed off at Jimmy for costing Roman the match. Maybe Roman has to teach Jimmy some lessons like he taught Jay some lessons. It's a very interesting idea if this is like the evolution of the bloodline story, you know? We're trying to turn Jay Uso into a mini Roman Reigns, if you will. Oh, my camera just died. But we're trying to turn Jay Uso into essentially the next tribal chief, a mini Roman Reigns, little tribal chief, if you will. And he has learned all those lessons from Roman. So now Roman, if he wants Jimmy to be on his level as well, if he wants Jimmy to learn, maybe Roman is going to teach those lessons. Maybe Jay is going to be the one that teaches those lessons to Jimmy. Because let's face it, Jay Uso has been acting like the mini tribal chief recently. He understands what Roman Reigns has said throughout all these years, and I think it's finally starting to set in. Jay Uso realizes it's family above all. And the moment that Jimmy Uso realizes what he has to do to get on that level of a Jay Uso or on that level of a Roman Reigns, it's going to be very, very interesting. So I can't wait to see how that all goes down. But back into the match. Bronson Reed needs to win this match, all right? He already lost to Roman Reigns. He has an Australian street fight. He's from Australia. I think you just have to give Bronson Reed this win. You're building him up as like this monster character. He's almost in the position of like a Big Show or a Mark Henry, somebody who needs to be taken legitimately seriously. And for that to happen, you need big wins. If Bronson Reed loses again to Roman Reigns, does it do anything long-term for Bronson Reed? Not really, but a win certainly does. And I think this also has to play into Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes' story that's going on later in the night as well, because Seth Rollins is not supposed to win with any help. He needs to beat Cody Rhodes clean, plain and simple. He needs to beat him in order to win back the locker room or keep the locker room on his side. I don't know which side it really is. I don't feel like Seth Rollins has the locker room on his side right now. I feel like it's literally just the Vision and then everybody else. But hey, you know, Seth, if you think you got the locker room, then good on you. But a win over Cody Rhodes might help a lot in getting that locker room truly behind you. But if Bronson Reed wins his match, if he beats Roman Reigns, and if it was cleanish, like if it's just a little bit of family distraction and Bronson Reed hits a tsunami to beat Roman Reigns, man, then all of a sudden Bronson's got to be thinking like, hey, I beat Roman. Seth, why can't you? So, of course, that plays into a longer-term story. We're building to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at some point. It's gonna happen. Oh, camera dead again. Because at some point, we are going to get Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Like, that is going to happen. And if you have Bronson Reed waiting in the wings, and if he's like, hey, I beat Roman, and then Seth ends up losing to Roman, then you can play into that dissension down the line as well. There's a lot of story going into this matchup, and it's not just going to be a straight-up one-and-done, Roman Reigns pins Bronson Reed, and we're out of there. Like, I cannot see it being that way. There's going to be layers to this, and there's going to be a lot of storyline development. So my prediction, Bronson Reed beats Roman Reigns. We go from one Australian to another. This is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky tagging against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. First of all, thrilled that this match is going down on a pay-per-view. Rhea Ripley in Australia is going to be the most beloved woman ever. Like, I think the pop for Rhea is going to be generational. I can't wait to hear it. And also, Io Sky is loved everywhere. So this tag team match is going to be hot. The fans are going to be into it. The fans definitely aren't going to be a fan of the Kabuki Warriors after everything they've done to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. So this is going to be magic on our screens. But the reason why I have Bronson Reed winning his match in Australia is because I think you need to give a hometown person the win, right? I truly think that you need to give that hometown crowd that dub. And so part of me is like, do you just have Bronson Reed win his match so he gets the hometown win so that people are kind of happy for Bronson? But then you go the opposite direction and you go heat. Because like I just said, people are going to hate the Kabuki Warriors. They're going to love Rhea. They're going to love Io. And they are going to despise the Kabuki Warriors. Don't you think we can turn that heat into real money long term? The women's tag team titles are just kind of there right now. Like, no offense to Charlotte and Alexa, but I feel like they need credible challengers. The Kabuki Warriors would be very credible, and a win for them over Australia's own Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, that will generate a lot of heat. But on the flip side, it's Rhea bloody Ripley, and we're in Australia. Like, the fans are going to be absolutely livid if she loses, and you gotta weigh it, right? You gotta say, hey, is it better off giving the fans a feel-good moment with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky winning and vanquishing the Kabuki Warriors and hugging in the center of the ring after being all smurfed up for weeks on end? You know, maybe that's a feel-good end, but I don't want this to be the end of the story. I think we're just starting to reach a good part in this journey. Like, Asuka and Kairi Sane, their dynamic is now where it needs to be. Asuka has Kairi captive. Kairi is not able to grow a backbone. She is caving to everything Asuka is saying, so sympathy is starting to grow for Kairi Sane. She doesn't want to do what she has to do, and she's getting slapped by Asuka. People are going to be invested in that story of Kairi and Asuka, but you can't just kill it right now. You have to keep it going, and you got to give them something to sink their teeth into. The women's tag team titles are that. The Kabuki Warriors going up against Charlotte Flair and Asuka for those tag titles is what needs to happen long term. I'm just going to put it out there. If they lose in Australia, that doesn't happen. The Kabuki Warriors don't get that push up towards Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. They need the win. So go for heat, all right? You got Bronson Reed, the local man, winning. You already gave the local crowd a bit of a thing right there. Give the Kabuki Warriors the win over Australia's own Rhea Ripley. I can't wait. Now on to the women's crown jewel matchup. We got Tiffany Stratton, the women's champion on SmackDown, and we got Stephanie Vaquer. What the fuck did I just say? Backtrack. Now onto the women's crown jewel matchup. We got Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer. It's gonna be a very fun matchup. Now, if you don't know what's on the line in this thing, it is a giant belt, but the belt has no value whatsoever other than looking pretty, right? Holding on to the title. They want that photo at the end of the night, and it gets you a ring. Cool. But this is the battle of the champions, right? Really, truly to see who is the best champion on whichever brand. And you got two young ladies who have had the rocket strapped to them over their entire career in WWE. Stephanie and Tiffany Stratton kind of mirror each other in a weird way. They came into NXT. Tiffany Stratton got a big push right out of the gate. Stephanie Vaquer got a big push right out of the gate. Both of them won the NXT championship. Both of them got called up to the main roster. Both of them win their world championship early on in their career on the main roster and have a hell of a rookie run. So that brings us now to figuring out who is the best champion and who is the best young face in WWE right now. But again, I feel like Crown Jewel is one of those shows where we are building to the future. We are establishing new characters, new storylines, new motives, and I think this needs to be the tipping point for Tiffany Stratton as a babyface. Look, I think she's had a great run at the top of the card, but she's starting to run out of challengers, credible challengers, and we can't just keep going back to Nia Jax or Jade Cargill or whoever they want to at that point. Tiffany Stratton needs to be a heel, or we need like a baby face like Bianca Belair to turn heel and go up against a Tiffany Stratton. But like, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I feel like Tiffany needs to flip over to heel, and then we get a whole bunch of fresh new matchups for her, similar to how CM Punk turned heel during his historic title run, right, where he turned on The Rock at Raw 1000. I feel like Tiffany Stratton could turn as the champion, unlock a world of possibilities for her, but it needs to start with a loss. She needs to get in her own head. No longer is she at the tiffy top. Another rookie essentially beat her. Somebody who is new to the main roster is taking over her shine. Maybe now we start to see a bit of a jealous character emerge from Tiffany Stratton. It's interesting, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also kind of nervous because Tiffany Stratton, you know, she has had the rocket strapped to on her back for like however long since she's been called up to the main roster. Putting the Crown Jewel Championship with the Crown Jewel ring might fit her character, right? It could also lead her over the edge in the other way, right? Maybe she gets too cocky. Maybe she is too proud of herself, and then that's when the heel characteristics start to show. And maybe she is getting she's putting herself too high on that pedestal and somebody needs to knock her down. I could see that happening as well. But Stephanie Vaquer needs this win. Let's just face it, okay? She just won that world championship. Everybody is invested in what she's doing. She's an international star, and she is taking over the WWE. If you don't put the title on her, I feel like it's a mistake at this point. Tiffany Stratton doesn't need it. There's more story to be told with her losing than winning, but Stephanie Vaquer winning this really helps establish her in the eyes of the fans. So yeah, I'll say Stephanie Vaquer picks up the win here. And next up, we have John Cena versus AJ Styles in what is just it's a match that feeds my soul, man. The Royal Rumble match between John and AJ just lives in my brain rent-free. I loved everything about John Cena's run during that time, and then AJ Styles stepping up with the OC, the beat up John Cena, all of it. It holds such a special place in my brain, as I'm sure it does for all of you, right? Like, I loved that time with AJ Styles. It was something we never thought we would see, right? AJ Styles coming over from TNA or New Japan and having a legitimate run in WWE. At one point, AJ Styles was the best wrestler outside of WWE, and it wasn't even close. He was the star where everybody was like, if he comes here, can you imagine what type of magic John and AJ could produce? That's what was produced multiple times. John and AJ had everybody in the wrestling world talking about their incredible matches. Now, do I think we are going to see that level of amazingness that we got from AJ and John back in, 2016, 2015, somewhere around there? Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but no. No, I don't think we're going to see that level of awesomeness. We are not going to get a near 5-star classic between John and AJ, but what we are going to get is we are going to get a great crowd dynamic. I think the Australian crowd is going to be so hot because not only are they getting to see John Cena in his retirement tour and the last time he's coming to Australia, they're getting to see AJ Styles, which also might be the last time AJ Styles goes to Australia. There's lots of rumors around AJ potentially retiring in 2026, that this is the start of his retirement run. If he is about to retire, man, that is like a generational crowd waiting to happen. We could see the levels, and I know this is bold, but imagine if we get the levels of Hogan and Rock in that ring with John and AJ. If the crowd is split, they're choosing their sides and they're so invested in each one, but then throughout the match, maybe people start to gravitate more to one side than the other. It could be magic, man, and I hope they deliver. Do I think it's going to be a classic? No, but do I think it's going to be a memorable match? Yeah, it's kind of feeling like it's going to be like CM Punk versus John Cena at Night of Champions, I believe it was. You know, just a big deal, right, that the match is happening. It's playing off nostalgia back when John Cena and CM Punk put on bangers of matches. It's kind of feeling like that again, right? We're going off of nostalgia going into this matchup, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everybody watching, but like, it's not going to be the same level of in-ring competition as it used to be, but I think in terms of aura and star power, this thing is going to blow those matches out of the water. But in terms of predicting this matchup, everything I just said about AJ Styles potentially retiring leads me to believe he loses this match, right? I think this kickstarts the AJ Styles retirement tour. So if AJ Styles, a main roster full-time wrestler, cannot beat a damn near retired John Cena, then what does he have left in the tank, right? I think that really starts to seep into the character of AJ. Everything we heard back when he pulled that fast one over on Cody Rhodes with the Mark Henry inspired retirement thing, I don't think that was complete BS. AJ Styles is nearly done his career, and going out in this way where he loses to John Cena definitely would kickstart a retirement run, in my opinion. So John needs this win, just lost to Brock Lesnar. AJ Styles will be fine as long as we tell a story with this loss. So why not? All right. John Cena beating AJ Styles. We also have to keep John looking strong going into his retirement match. So like whoever wins this rumored tournament going on to face John Cena, if that is what ends up happening, he's got to look strong. And if it is the rumored Gunther, bro, he can't lose to AJ. And now it's time for the main event. It is going to be Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Men's Crown Jewel Championship. Cody Rhodes has already won this thing. He is beloved all around the WWE, and Seth Rollins is desperate for a win. Cody Rhodes is 3-0 against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has not been able to beat this man one-on-one. This is set up for the biggest win, arguably, in Seth Rollins' career. On paper, Cody Rhodes should lose, right? I mean, we're talking about Cody Rhodes, a guy who's been firmly established at the top of WWE, and you've got another guy with a group called The Vision, where he's got this vision for the future of what WWE is supposed to be like. I don't really know what that means, okay? It feels a lot like the greater good he used to spew, but still, he's got a vision for the future, and he needs to win over Cody Rhodes for that vision, that future to come to life. Like, if he doesn't, bro, you're like Rollins flat out asked Paul Heyman, what happens if I lose? Paul told him, if you lose the locker room. You lose Bronson Reed. You lose Braun Breaker. And then he asked the important question, what happens with Paul Heyman? Paul Heyman thinking about everything. Why did he choose Seth Rollins over Roman Reigns and CM Punk? Is this actually the future? Or does Paul Heyman need to invest in somebody else for the future, right? I love the idea that there's so much on the line in this matchup, and everything they have done with Cody and Rollins going into this matchup has been perfect. Honestly, the build has been so damn good. It has a WrestleMania type of vibe to it, and if this crown jewel was going down at WrestleMania, it would feel like a gigantic match. So all the credit in the world to the story and the build up and all the promo segments. They've been great. But what I loved the most is that we took a match that essentially has no consequences, a match that has nothing really on the line other than bragging rights. We took that match and we turned it into the story for the next 6 months of WWE. If Rollins wins, he has the locker room. He has the vision. He knows where he's going, and somebody is going to have to step up to stop that vision. Or Rollins loses, and he loses Paul Heyman's trust. He loses Braun Breaker's trust. He loses Bronson Reed's trust. What does that mean for his vision? Does he bring somebody else in to help out his vision? What does that mean for War Games? Are they now questioning everything going into War Games? Should Rollins even be the leader of his team? Do they look elsewhere? You know, all of a sudden, a loss for Rollins creates a ton of story there at the top of the card. But I believe there's a third option here. It doesn't just need to be Rollins either winning or losing clean, right? I think there is an option to truly lean into the vision helping Rollins out. And the story moving forward that, yeah, Rollins did win this Crown Jewel Championship, but he couldn't get it done himself. He needed help from Bronson Reed. He needed help from Braun Breaker. He needed Paul Heyman. And I want Rollins to grow to resent that. I want him to doubt himself even more. Rollins is one of the only characters in WWE that are obsessed with everything that they do. If he loses to somebody, he's obsessed with this loss. Think about the Cody Rhodes stuff. He's been obsessed with Cody Rhodes. Think about Roman Reigns. He was obsessed with Roman Reigns. Think about Seth Rollins. He is Seth Rollins. Think about CM Punk. He was obsessed with CM Punk. All these little things that Rollins has had with feuds, there's one common theme, one common thread. He is obsessive over a loss. So what if all of a sudden he becomes obsessive that he can't win by himself? He gets in his own head. He starts doubting that he needs the help of Paul Heyman, that he doesn't need the help of Bronson Reed, of Braun Breaker. What if Paul Heyman is telling him to do all these things, like we've already seen with him telling him, don't go back into the ring. It's a trap. You're going to get taken out, only for Rollins to get taken out. He's not listening to Paul Heyman, and if he continues to doubt Paul, how long is Paul going to stick by Rollins' side? And of course, if Rollins gets some help in winning this matchup, that protects Cody Rhodes, which at the end of the day, we do want to protect Cody Rhodes. It would also be pretty cool if like Randy Orton for some reason came out and just actually cost Cody Rhodes the match, right? And we finally kickstarted Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. But again, that might be the WrestleMania match. If we're looking at this for a long-term story, we might honestly be looking at Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 42, and then maybe looking at a Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42 as well. But if Randy doesn't cost Cody, if he's not involved in this whatsoever, Rollins beating Cody clean doesn't do much for any story. It doesn't do much for Cody. He's incredibly protected. One loss isn't going to hurt him. It might create some doubt with like some other people in the locker room, like a Drew McIntyre, like a Randy Orton or whatever, but like it's not going to be integral to the story moving forward. Rollins losing, integral to the story moving forward. Rollins winning clean doesn't do a lot. It just kind of says, hey, I'm the guy with the vision in the future and you can trust me. Rollins winning via help creates a lot of story as well moving forward. So I love the directions we have for this matchup. I'm going to officially predict that Rollins does win with the help of the vision. I think it is the easiest way to go. It's the one with like the least resistance, and it creates quite a bit of story moving forward. So that's my prediction. But there you have it, guys. I will be live this Saturday at, oh my gosh, I think it's 5 a.m. Eastern time is when the kickoff show begins. So this Saturday, I'll be live at 5 a.m. Eastern time.
What?
Wait a minute.
Bullshit. Fuck that.
I'll cover everything Crown Jewel, all the pre-show, the post-show stuff, you name it. We are covering it there this weekend. So make sure you join me, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. You can watch the stream along with me. And then I'm also going to have a review dropping shortly after the event takes place. I hope you join me for that. Don't forget, it's also live at 8 a.m. on Friday and 8 a.m. on Monday. Australia is going to dig me into the ground, bro. I don't know how I'm going to be awake, but I'll do my best. We'll have a few skis of these skis. You know what I'm saying, skis? All right, we'll get a few energy drink skis in us. That's enough skis. All right, guys, make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and keep coming back right here for all of your pro wrestling content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you this weekend.